Good morning, Patrick here from Complete Health. I wanted to talk about one of the most interesting things about the human body, and it's the ability to adapt. The ability to adapt. And the thing that we do the most is the thing that we almost always become. The thing we do the most is the thing that we almost always become. So what do I mean? Well, if we look at anything that we ever do in life, the thing that we do the most is the thing that becomes the easiest for the body. E.g., if you go for a run every single day, it typically will get easier to run every single day. If you go and lift heavy weights, your body will adapt and become stronger every single day. If you go and stretch, your body will become more flexible every single day. So why do we not seem to think the same things that could occur if we sit on our mobile phone like this all day? Or we sit behind a desk with a slouched posture all day. Our bodies and our muscles and our nerves all have to adapt. They're very good at learning. So the things that we do the most, partly the reason why we actually become better at those things, say for example running, is because of the physical fitness that we will develop through our lungs, our cardiovascular system, etc. But the reason why those systems become so much more efficient is because the brain is signaling for those things to actually adapt and change. So every single time you go for a run, your brain has to send a signal to your heart and to your lungs to tell it to work harder. It has to send a signal to your muscles to tell them to work harder so they become stronger and faster for next time. If you go and lift heavy weights, your brain will send signals down the nerves in order to recruit more muscle. People have heard the term muscle memory. Now, the reality of it is if you don't lift weights for a couple of weeks and you go back and you can still lift the same weights, a lot of that is to do with the training in your nerve system and not necessarily the muscles. Because if your muscles haven't been used for a couple of weeks, then they will have started to become weaker. We know that atrophy occurs after 2 to 3 days of not using a muscle. So that recruitment and that strength is maintained by the strength of our nerve system. Now, interestingly enough, we can teach our nerve system both good and bad adaptations. So looking at something like your mobile phone for 3 to 4 hours a day can actually start to adapt and change the position of the muscles and the joints in our neck so that we can actually start to adapt into bad postures, which can actually start to lead to stuff like degeneration. Same again with sitting in a desk. Our hip muscles at the fronts of our hips tend to become really, really short. And again, the brain learns to hold those positions. And then when we come away from the chair, we have these muscles in these shortened and aberrant patterns, or going weak or overly strong. And as a result, again, we can start to change the whole pattern of the way that our body is supposed to move. And this can have a huge impact on the way that stuff like our joints, our muscles, and our nerves start to work. And we start to wonder why the number of injuries are going up, why the number of cases of stuff like cancer and heart disease and diabetes are all going up. Because when we start looking at stuff like diabetes, cancer, motor diseases, degeneration, they all come from a state where our body is used in a pattern that is not normal, and our body will have to adapt to try and make changes. E.g., if you're eating bad foods every day, we put on weight. That is your body adapting. It's not a good adaptation, but it's an adaptation, and your body is trying to work things out. But if you continue to abuse it, guess what? It eventually breaks down, disease occurs, and that's when the body starts to actually scream out and tell us something's going wrong, and that's how symptoms actually occur. Symptoms are a sign that something is not functioning at 100% in your body, and if you're starting to see symptoms, that's when you really need to start to address them. So try to make some positive adaptations, add some things into your life that will make good adaptations. Do some resistance or cardiovascular exercise, eat good foods, think well, move well, stretch, whatever, but let's help your body to feel at 100% by actually doing things that are going to make it adapt in a positive way and not necessarily in a negative way. Until tomorrow, you take care, guys, and I will speak to you soon.